Tyson Nam, welcome to MMA Live TV, mate. Thanks for having us in.
Thank you for having me again. It's not like I got much to do anyways.
Mate, it's interesting times that we're living in, right? Where are you dialing in from at the moment?
I'm in the beautiful island of Oahu. So, I mean, if you're going to be quarantined, you might as well get quarantined in paradise.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's nighttime there. It looks like you're outside your place.
Yes, it's nighttime right now, 8 p.m. to be exact.
Nice one. So tell me, in quarantine, what are you doing, mate, to keep your mind sharp and to keep things going? Like, what does a day in quarantine look like for a UFC fighter?
You know, I wake up and I go and work out for about 3 to 4 hours because, you know, I'm used to working out and, you know, going to a job, you know, where I coach just for a little bit. But, you know, even with that, there's still always that extra energy you got to burn off. So, I mean, I just stay out there. I either run or I hit the bag or, you know, I got to do something because I feel like I'm almost like a cage animal where I got all this pent up energy and I just got to release it somehow one way or another without going and being around a large group of people.
Yeah, fair enough. So it's still business as usual for you in terms of training. How is that working with the social distancing and all that?
I mean, it's probably better actually. I feel like I can concentrate a lot more now that I don't have to go to a job after I work out. So
yep.
That's probably a positive. I feel like I'm actually in better shape now just because, you know, I can work out and then I can just rest, recover, work out later on again. So yep. I feel good. So
from a working out regime, are you structuring what that looks like? Are you working with people?
Not with people specifically. You know, I have weights where I can do some strength and conditioning, and you know, in your off season, you always want to maintain and even build a little bit. So I'm able to do that just so that when the fights are being held again, I can just start to peak out right get go.
Awesome. Makes sense. So tell us, mate, a bit for the audience. How does a young lad in Hawaii, such as yourself, get into the fight game? Like, how did that story come about?
For me, it was specifically peer pressure.
Yep.
You know, I always watched. I always took an interest in like fighting movies. You know, watching Jean-Claude Van Damme,
yep.
Sylvester Stallone, and you know, I always wanted to do it, but I guess my parents didn't want me to do it just because I was small, right? You know, you don't want your small child, because, you know, I grew up as a small kid. I mean, shit, I fight at 125 pounds, so I must have been small when I was little.
Yep.
But at the same time, you know, I graduated from high school, and then I was like, you know, I think I'm my own man now. I think I can make my own decisions. So I went to a Muay Thai gym, and, you know, after about a month of training, they're like, "Hey, Tyson, you want to do like an amateur fight?" I was like, I guess so. I ain't got nothing to do over the weekend except for probably just get drunk and party. So I might as well do something a little bit more constructive. And, you know, I had my first amateur kickboxing match after training after about a month or two. And here I am today, about 16 years later.
Yeah, wow. Time flies. And in Hawaii, is it very small in terms of like the UFC fighters that are in the roster cross paths, or how does that usually work?
Yeah, you know, we all cross train with each other. We run across each other. I mean, the island is only so big that you're bound to run across like Max, Yancy, Maki. I mean, you know, we because so the two gyms, Gracie Technics and Hawaii Elite, that's where we got the UFC fighters, and we always cross train with each other because we always have the head coaches cornering all of us. So, you know, different locations, but, you know, we all work out with each other. It's a happy bunch.
Yeah, makes sense. Look, it would be fair to say that if you observed your fighting style, it's striking. What about striking really resonates to you as a fighter?
For some odd reason, it just feels really good to punch somebody in the face. I don't know why,
Yeah, okay.
but I mean, almost on the complete opposite though. It almost kind of feels kind of good to get punched in the face as well too,
Yep.
and a little bit if just like thinking a little bit sadistically, but when I get hit, it's kind of like it wakes you up, it makes you feel alive. It gets that adrenaline pumping up, and if somebody punches you, you want to punch them back. So it's just that adrenaline rush,
Yeah.
competition at its finest.
Fair enough. Makes sense. Listening to you speak, and I've heard you speak in a couple of other interviews. It's very apparent that there's this real confident swagger about you as an individual. Where does that come from? Has that always been you, or has Tyson Nam that we see now been molded over a period of time?
No, it's always been me. I started playing sports when I was 5 or 6 years old, so competition was in a thing to me. I always feel like, especially in a competition and now, mixed martial arts, like a fight. I always feel like whenever I'm going up against somebody,
Yep.
they can hit hard, but I always feel like I can always hit them harder.
Yep.
Like I said, I grew up being the smaller of my friends, my cousins, my brothers, but at the same time, size didn't really matter to me. So I don't know what it was. I always try to swing for the fences, whether we're roughhousing or actually getting into a fight.
Yep.
Size never mattered. So I always feel like I said, any human being, I can always hit them harder.
Yep. Fair enough. Do you feel that you have a chip on your shoulder, like when you go into fights? Like, is that the mentality?
No chip,
Yep.
chip at all. I started mixed martial arts, like I said, just because I've been playing sports since I was 5 or 6 years old.
Yep.
The better man always wins. I never take anything away when somebody prevails over me.
Yep.
They're just better that night than me.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just competition. That's all it is. There's no chip at all.
Fair enough.
It's I'm here to entertain people, entertain the fans, and just do what I like doing until I can't do it anymore.
That's a good attitude. Looking at your record, and you've been fighting for a long while now. It seems that there's two buckets, right? One is you either knock people out, or the other it seems to go to decisions. Like, what do you think is leading that extremity in terms of results?
When I'm going into a fight, and I feel like I've been judged at least 5 or 6 times on a couple of questionable decisions. But maybe I don't know the rules, but I always thought that, especially mixed martial arts or just a fight in general, you're supposed to judge it off of effective striking,
Yep.
effective grappling, and ring or cage control. And I never punched for points. I didn't grow up that way. I mean, it's so hard for me to switch over now, just because I've been doing it this way for so long. I've always just punched to knock somebody's head off. I don't believe in points, because I mean, the term fighting, you just don't do it for points.
Yep.
So I mean, my style, I don't know what I got to do, but I feel like if a lot of people judged my fights on a playground or a schoolyard, I feel like I would have won a bunch of these decisions that I didn't win. So maybe I need to look at the rule book again, or revisit or something, because I just don't get it a handful of times.
In circumstances like that, do you actively go back to, because I've seen it in fights, do you lean on your camp in between rounds to tell you do you like getting their opinion if you think that you've won the round or not?
I I barely say anything. I try to listen as best as possible, but
Yep.
when you got that adrenaline pumping, you're huffing and puffing, you're a little bit tired. You don't even hear words. You just hear their mouths moving. But I can pick up on a couple of words that they're saying. But I mean, I almost feel, well, any which way. After so many losses by decision now, I just never feel like I will ever win a decision, even if I do win.
Yep.
So, but I try to listen as best as possible, but it's almost like in one ear and out the other majority of the time.
Yeah, fair enough. Speaking of camps and in your team, you've got a really, it seems like you've got a really fun relationship with Ricky Simone. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Oh, we met in 2012 after I knocked out Eduardo Dantes.
Yep.
He was still fighting amateur at the time, but I mean, he's been wrestling all his life, so he was a really good wrestler, grappler, and so they helped me, or so they brought him in since I was living up in Portland and he was living in the nearby area, and we had all the talent there in the Pacific Northwest area at it kind of went from Team Quest to Rose City, and now I know they changed it to American Top Team Portland.
Yep.
But yeah, 2012 we started, and I mean, I'm more of a striker. He's more of a grappler. So kind of like how opposites attract. We kind of complement each other on bettering our I wouldn't say weaknesses, but the things that we need to get better at. Yep. So and we've come a long way. Even though I've moved back to Hawaii 4 years ago, I still go over there. He still comes over here, and we still continue our training partner relationship to this day.
So it's a good friendship as well.
Yeah, good and bad.
What do you mean by bad?
Good and bad. You stay with someone for about two weeks at a time. You kind of get sick of the person. So it's kind of like a brother to brother thing. You like them, but you still want to hit them in the face.
It's being able to tolerate someone. That's how it is.
Yeah. It's definitely toleration because it always seems like either I want to joke around or he wants to joke around, but
never at the same time.
Sometimes it's never at the same time. So it's just like, oh, I just want to hurt you.
Fair enough, mate. So tell me, when a fight happens, what is your usual routine when it comes into a fight camp? Like, how long do you usually take to prepare? Do you go to the States? Like, how does that usually work itself out?
Usually at the beginning, I always like going somewhere else, Either I'm going to Portland, where Ricky's up in that area, or we've recently been going to Team Oyama. They got a bunch of UFC fighters. They got really good talent up over there as well too. So I was like starting off somewhere else, and then ending back here in Hawaii where I feel comfortable. And whenever I'm losing a lot of weight, you want to be as comfortable as possible. So no other better place than home in paradise, where it's nice and still nice and warm, even when it's during the winter time.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, a good timeout is like 6 weeks. Sometimes you only get 4, you only get 3, but whenever the UFC calls you, you say yes, and no matter where you're stuck at, you bite the bullet and you lose the weight and you train. You try to prepare as best as possible. Yep,
fair enough. And who usually makes that call? Is that usually Sean Shelby to the managers? Like,
I believe that Mick Maynard does the flyweights.
Fair enough.
So
okay, so they've got different people.
But yeah, for different weight classes. But I leave everything up to Iridium Sports, Jason House to deal with all of that.
Yep, that's what they paid for. Yep,
that's what they paid him for.
So, mate, it took you a while to get to the big dance, but you eventually got to the UFC. When you got there, your first opponent is a Pettis brother, Sergio, the little man. Like, what were your feelings when you got the call, when you found out the opponent, and how do you feel the first fight went?
I mean, you're always ecstatic. I believe I think my manager, Ricky guys, were trying to call me at like 6 or 7 in the morning, and I'm dead asleep. I go to bed at like 12 or 1 o'clock, so ain't nobody gonna be waking me up. So
Yeah.
when I wake up to a bunch of these FaceTimes, text messages, like what the hell do they want? I mean, it's
Yeah.
either gonna be good or it's gonna be bad. But I mean, told me that I'm gonna be fighting Sergio Pettis in Mexico City, and I always wanted to fight someone like Sergio Pettis. I got outpointed. I can truly say that I got outpointed over there. Um, I thought I could lure him into more of a street fight, but they had a good game plan. They stuck that jab. It's not like I got hurt or anything. It's just that I got outpointed, and
Yep.
it and that seems to be the recipe against me. Jab him, move around, jab him, move around. But
Yep. Fair enough. Fair enough.
shit.
So it is what it is. It is
Yeah.
a very strategic sort of game, I guess, right? Like when you enter that level. So look, your most recent fight against Kai, UFC Auckland Fight Night, which is incidentally one of the last fight cards before the COVID stuff all started getting very serious. So you snuck one in, mate.
I did.
How was that whole process going to Auckland, and how did you feel again the fight went?
I felt like I won rounds 1 and 2.
Yep.
I heard him in the first with a hook, and I need him in the body. I had a couple of takedowns. I mean, I felt like I won a decision there, but definitely always in the back of my mind, if I'm fighting someone in their hometown, their home country, I'm not gonna get the nod.
Yep.
But I felt good. I mean, that was right during the time when the COVID-19 was going around. So I had a SARS mask, and I put a hoodie over my face the entire plane ride up over there. I mean, it was definitely an experience. It was a good fight. I feel like if the main event, Hooker and Felder didn't get the fight at night, I felt like we put on a show to where we would have had fight of the night for the fans of Auckland.
Yeah, it was definitely a very entertaining fight. I guess two fights into the UFC, like you've obviously fought some of the best guys in the world already, so it's not that like it's that dramatic a step up in terms of the competition, even though more people are looking. Do you feel that you've learned a couple of different things, or what's struck you two fights into the UFC?
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I probably have to do to score more points per se to try and get these fights to lean it in my way if it does go a decision. But I mean, like I said, I'm never looking for a decision. Either I'm knocking you out, or I would actually much rather get knocked out than lose by a decision.
Yep.
I mean, it's a fight, and I'm just so frustrated at certain points. Like, how the hell do I lose this decision if everybody else on a playground would say that I would have won? But shit.
Fair enough. You're fairly big for that weight class. Do you feel that the fact that you can take a fair amount of the damage that some of these lighter fighters are dishing out kind of works against you, because you kind of feel that you can continue the path with that striking mentality?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a big flyweight. I'm almost like a in-betweener to where 130 would be actually good for me, because I mean, at 135 I still get outweighed by about 10 pounds come fight night.
Yep.
But at flyweight, I'm the bigger man, but of course, being bigger, being stronger, I mean, you're a little bit slower, but at the same time, if I can corner somebody, or if I can get them to start swinging down with me, hit me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots, all it's going to take is just one for me to put your lights out.
Yeah. In that particular regard, do you feel that this is going to be your weight class, or do you feel that potentially you could see yourself in a different weight class?
I used to fight at 135 when I started my career here. But for some reason, since I am able to make the 125-pound division, the flyweight division, I mean, it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of dieting, takes a lot of exercise to lose the weight. But I do my best work at 125, just primarily because I'm a striker.
Yep.
So I kind of lack the skills with the wrestling, the grappling aspect.
Yep.
But just my size and my strength alone, it makes a pretty difficult task for guys to actually take me down. Even these Dagestan wrestlers couldn't take me down.
Yep.
So it's definitely toward my advantage. On top of that, to where my size and my strength kind of nullifies my weaknesses on top of the
fair enough
my fighting.
Are you always like proactively looking to improve upon your skills, like in terms of like jiu-jitsu and wrestling? Like how do you work with that with your coach?
Yeah, I mean, always my thought is you never, you always have your strength, what your forte is. So you never really want to lose that, because I've known a bunch of fighters, they start off as strikers, but then their striking is so good that they feel like they don't need to practice it anymore, and they just try to wrestle and do the jiu-jitsu, do the grappling aspects. But it still kind of hurts. Like you lose the timing or something with it if you don't practice something, even though you're really good at it. So I always try to say, I'm always gonna keep up with my striking, because I mean I feel like I can still always improve on top of what I'm good at. But try to more so at least learn the defenses, I guess you can say, for the grappling aspect, because I forget who it was. It might have been Nate Corey. I heard it from somebody else that they said, it takes many years to be a specialist, say like a submission specialist. It might take months to be a specialist in just defending submissions. So I always try to keep that in my mind, to where I'm always going to keep my forte, but I'll always try to improve, especially on top of the defenses of where I'm weakest at.
Fair enough. So, mate, let's play a game. Let's put a matchmaker cap on. If you had the chance to pick your opponent, who are you looking at? Like, do you want a name, or do you simply want to get there and improve your skills? Like, where's your mindset in if you had that opportunity?
Well, I've already had 2 shots now at 2 top 10 guys. Number 5, Sergio, and I believe Kai at the time was number 7 or number 8, and that didn't go my way. So I mean, anybody from 10 to 15, I guess, is my whoever wants it. But I just hope that I can find someone that a good dance partner that wants to actually make a fight with me. Not play for points, because even at the end, I want to entertain. I want the fans to be cheering. I just want everybody to be excited.
Fair enough. Who are some of the fighters in the UFC, or even past the UFC, that you enjoy watching personally?
It doesn't even matter. A fight is a fight. I mean, who doesn't like watching people punch each other in the face? Even to the point to where when I go to practice, and maybe I'm not sparring, man, it's way more enjoyable to watch these guys spar instead of me getting punched in the face from time to time.
Nice.
So I mean, it doesn't even matter. I'm a fan of anybody that steps into a cage or a ring. I mean, you're really putting yourself out there on top of the line, because there's only one person that can win, and there's only one person that can lose. So I mean, it's the highest of highs, it's the lowest of lows, and just hats off to anybody that even does it from a professional to an amateur standpoint.
Fair enough. Look, it would be remiss if we didn't talk about the COVID stuff, because we are in the current environment here. From your perspective specifically, do you feel that the UFC should be having events? Like, how do you feel about it?
I was gonna fight on May 2nd. And until I guess Disney told Dana not to do it. But in my mind, I thought, you test everybody, you fly everybody in, make sure that nobody has it. And I mean, we're probably safer doing that than going out to the grocery store to get groceries where, there's a lot of questionable people, not the healthiest of people. I mean, we're athletes. We're really healthy.
Yep.
We eat good, we exercise. I mean, you test us and we're good. I mean, you should let us fight. I mean, everybody's so bored at home. Everybody wants to watch sports, and what better sport to watch than the UFC or mixed martial arts, watching people just punch each other.
Yep. Fair enough. UFC 249 with like all the shenanigans that happened there with Khabib going to Russia and all that. Like, do you have any thoughts on that? Like, is the communication with the UFC generally that difficult, or how does that usually work?
Shoot, only they would know.
Yeah.
I would not know a thing about it. I mean, yeah, if they went to Russia, they probably didn't know that they weren't gonna let people to fly out.
Yeah.
I mean, that was definitely the fight that everybody wants to see, and I don't think that he did that on purpose. Khabib did that on purpose,
Yep.
not knowing that he wouldn't be able to make it to the dance.
Fair enough. How's the COVID situation in Hawaii specifically? Like, is it very strict? How are the social distancing measures being placed over there?
Oh God, I mean, the people that's running it right now is just a bunch of idiots. I mean, they're still allowing tourists to come in and fly in, and ain't nobody gonna stay in their hotel room if you're coming into Hawaii when it's like
The weather is the
degrees
weather.
out there. Sun,
Yeah.
oh yeah, people are gonna venture out, and yeah, I mean, I just don't really understand if we put rules into place, but you're still flying people in and they're gonna break the rules. I mean, it's all over social media to where people are still out and about. Tourists are flying in. You have tourists posting it on top of social media that,
It's crazy.
ooh, I got $100. I got $100 flight to Hawaii. I got a whole plane to myself.
Yep.
It's just really upsetting. Just at the same time, I mean, my parents are older, and
Yep.
and you don't want them getting sick because they are at that age bracket to where they're more susceptible. I mean, so it's a little upsetting that these rules are still being broken and not really enforced like other countries or maybe even like other states.
Yep.
I just don't get it. I mean, maybe us locals gotta go around and start whooping some ass or something. I don't know. I mean, come down here, but I mean, follow the rules. I mean,
Yeah, of course. That's such a
stay in
listening.
your hotel or something. I
Yeah.
mean, shit.
I actually, so you're saying that they're actually allowing people to still come into the country because they've closed off borders in Australia, New Zealand, and
Well, I mean, I know people are still coming to Hawaii.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't know about the other states, but I know Hawaii is still allowing
Yeah, okay,
tourists and flights to come in. So
fair enough.
a little bit upsetting, just because I feel like, I mean, if everybody was really quarantined, we should have been just getting over with it already, or it should have been done already.
Yep.
But still just lingering around over here. I mean, I'm bored as shit. So, god damn, I just want to punch some people that aren't really following the rules.
Tyson Nam, cop. I like it. Just do the bit of civil liberties. Maybe you should put a Black Panther costume or something.
Something. I'm gonna take up some sewing and make myself a costume pretty soon. I'm so damn bored.
Oh man. UFC Fight Island. Is it in Hawaii? Do you know?
I wish. I wish. There's a bunch of fighters here in Hawaii that would love to have that. We've never even had a UFC in Hawaii before.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we're gonna make a fight island, why not bring it to
an actual
an
island.
island?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that would be. I mean, yeah. The weather's great.
Yeah.
We got all the time. We got a bunch of space. I don't know what's holding it back. I don't know if it's money or something of that sort. But
Yeah.
I mean, bring it to Hawaii. Bring it to Hawaii again.
Yeah. To Dana. Bring it to Hawaii. Well, Tyson,
Pretty please.
it's been, mate, a pleasure talking to you. Can't wait to see yourself and the whole roster back in action, but hopefully that won't take too long. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than later. Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Cheers, bud.